Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here at Crown Hyundai in St. Pete, Florida, and guess what? I have that one off-road rally-esque hot hatch that Hyundai is saying is revolutionary. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5. This particular one is the XRT trim. But before we get into this off-road rally spec of a hatchback, let's talk about what's going on here. So when Hyundai decided to make their first full electric vehicle, they decided to use the Ioniq name, and the Ioniq 5 was the first vehicle in their lineup. Now it's expanded. They have the Ioniq 6, the SUV Ioniq 9, and they're bringing more to market. But with this Ioniq 5, they decided, you know what? A lot of people said it looked like a rally car from the past, being that hatchback design and the overall shape. They wanted to add some extra rally off-road credentials to it. Very unique because there's not a lot of competition for this class of vehicle. So Hyundai is really staking their claim and putting their flag down the ground to colonize this electric rally car class. So what I want to find out is, has Hyundai done it? And is this the way to go over the mighty Subaru WRX? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into our Ioniq 5 XRT and find out. Right off the bat, I love the color. This dark red really fits the overall body lines of the Ioniq 5. Now at the front of the business, it gets a little crazy. It seems that manufacturers are using more and more cladding. I'm waiting to see which manufacturer makes a vehicle that's 100% all cladding, no painted surfaces whatsoever. But let's start at the front of the business. Love the way they do the headlight housing on these Ioniq 5s. You have that rectangular, squared off shape, daytime running lamp, turn signals, and your LED headlights. And obviously there's that cube form design throughout. The whole lower portion of this Ioniq 5 XRT is all that body cladding. So you'll notice that they took a page similar from Toyota with their Tundra and Tacomas, that techno camouflage kind of design. You do get two brightly powder coated orange tow recovery hooks to pull this thing out of the mud, out of the quicksand, or maybe this Ioniq 5 XRT will be pulling your WRX out of the mud and the quicksand. Down below, there's that cube style design that you see throughout the whole vehicle, and then more of that cladding along the bottom. Now, as we come across the front, obviously there's not a full grille because this is not an internal combustion engine vehicle. You do have a large area of gloss black, but if you look beneath it, you'll see that cube. It's all about cubism. Forward-facing camera, good to have on an off-road spec, and then more of that cladding with the camo tech. Let me know what you think about this Tetris-style design that they have in the center all the way across from one tow hook to the other. And then these doors open up, and that's where the cool air is gonna go for that lithium-ion battery pack. Now you have 6 inches of ground clearance, so a little bit more ground clearance than your standard Ioniq 5. And they really reshaped the front and the rear to give you a greater approach angle and departure angle over your standard Ioniq 5. But let me know what you think about the front of this first ever rally-inspired electric vehicle. Now, as we rise up, you got that slight bend to the hood, that blacked out Hyundai badge. Interesting how with this design, you'd think there'd be a lot of drag, but they actually say that the drag is very minimal on the front of this vehicle. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working? Wheel and tires. Now, being a off-road rally spec, you're gonna get these rally spec wheels, satin black with the XRT badge, and then you're getting the real deal Continental cross-contact off-road tires. There's some light shielding protection all the way around. This is an 18-inch wheel. Tires are 235 on the width, 60 series sidewall, and guess what? You automatically get Hyundai's H-Track, which is their all-wheel drive, because we have a motor up front and a motor out back powering the front wheels and the rear wheels. And then you'll notice the cladding with the camo tech design and some of my sweat there as I'm sweating profusely in the wonderful summertime humidity and heat here in Florida. But let me know what you think about the wheel design with our off-road spec tire. Of course, you're gonna have adaptive suspension, all four corners, and you'll notice that extra area for wheel and tire travel to go up and down, and there's the suspension lurking behind. I'm glad they didn't take the cladding all the way to the top. That would have been a little too ridiculous. Now, coming down the side, you do have power folding mirrors. I have them in the lock position, 360-degree cameras. You'll notice the cubism. From the side, it's easy to see when you're in person with this vehicle. This is not an SUV, guys. It's not a crossover SUV. It's a hatchback. It's a large hatchback. Up top, no sunroof. That seems like a zonk to me. It would be nice to at least have a standard size sunroof. I do like the flat black roof rails, nice and close to the body. You can get your crossbars so that when you're going off-roading and rallying, you can bring your mountain bike with you in case you run out of juice for the battery. You could pedal your butt back to civilization. Down below, you'll notice the cladding doesn't come up too high. And I guess the reason why they didn't want it to come up too high is you still have your very triangular Dorito design shape in the door panels. Flush mounted door handles to cut down on that drag, nice clean look. And then you are getting gloss black both top and bottom all the way around of our window frame openings. Spinning around back, you do have your charge port door. It is locked, I don't have the key on me, but you hit that opens up. There's that camo tech, large area on the rear bumper. Just like up front, the XRT badge embossed. And then from the back, it's looking good. Nice long roof spoiler, and you'll notice that this spoiler is really functional because you have the open portion down below where the roof line drops down, and then you have that elongated pull. Normally I would zonk the wiper, but this is a hatchback, right? And a lot of hatchbacks have the wiper, but boy, oh boy, if it was tucked underneath, it'd really clean up the back. Just like up front, you got your flat black Hyundai badge. We got all our cubism. It's like Tetris. Like I'm playing on my Game Boy. Ioniq 5 badge, the H-Track, because we have all-wheel drive. And then working our way down the ground level, you'll notice all the cladding with the camo. It's nice that they did the camo tech design. I just wonder how Toyota feels that they kind of did a 5-finger discount and took it from Toyota, that design. But the rest is flat gray and flat black on the rear hatch area. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what the heck is lurking underneath it in this XRT. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. I do like the way the hood also is composed of the top of the fender. Just gives it a nice extra cool look. Underneath, a lot of plastic. And as you can see, this is an EV, electric vehicle. You do have a very small frunk located up in the front area. The good news is I like the way the lid stays open, and you could put your Rally Day Twinkie boxes up there, maybe some Star Crunch, maybe some from Little Debbie moon pies and some of their oatmeal cream sandwiches, just for the rally days, because you really need to get that energy. But what are we looking at? Two motors that produce 320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque. It does use a 84 kilowatt lithium-ion battery pack. 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, quarter mile in 13.3 seconds. Top speed is governed to 117 miles an hour. This vehicle weighs 4,673 pounds. MPG ease is 103 in the city, 85 on the highway. It's got a range of 259 miles, and then can charge from 10% to 90% in just 30 minutes. Now, if you're comparing this to the Subaru WRX, remember the WRX has less horsepower, less torque, but the WRX is available with a manual transmission, and it's much lighter than this heavy EV. But why don't we go ahead, let's close everything up and see it roll. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 XRT. Very, very interesting take on a rally-esque off-road EV. It has me really scratching my head. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, I've always liked the look of the Ioniq 5. I thought it was cool. It reminded me of the old hatchback rally cars, like the Lancia Delta Integrale. But I need to know, how much is it? Because I'm not made of money like some of my friends think. How much is this? Very good question. MSRP, the way this one is spec'd, is $57,870. Yeah, that's quite a bit of coinage, as they say. But let's see what you get when you go with this Ioniq 5 XRT to the door panels. If you like plain, simple door panels, you're gonna love it. First of all, you have that black plastic. The problem is it's hard as a plastic rock. So not my favorite, but I guess the good news is it'll be easy to keep clean. I do like the way they did a gray finish on the door handle there. And then the armrest is nicely padded. No gloss black around the switchgear. You do have the XRT badge that kind of flows into that camo tech design. And then down below, you got a door pocket large enough to where you can get, I would say, 4 Checkers chili dogs and an extra large banana shake to wash that down. And we do have the Bose sound system. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, soft material on the dash, which is nice. Some of that same texture material like on the door panel. I do like the way the dash is nice and far forward. You slide on in, it's all about technology in here and easy access. You have your 12.3-inch infotainment system screen. You could do your side swipes on the side screen here, including showing how your energy is being used and your all-wheel drive. And then you have the rest of the familiar apps and icons that you find in a Hyundai vehicle. We're going to focus specifically on EV because this is an electric vehicle. There's the lithium-ion battery pack. It tells you how much percent you have, where's the closest charging station, how many miles range you could do with the air on and with the air off. And then let me go ahead and throw it in reverse. Backup cameras are clear as day. So they're doing a great job with the cameras. You do have your trajectory lines, which are awesome. And you could do that sit and spin. And then we're right back in the park. Now, if you're wondering, what am I using to do that? You do have your electric column shifter for the direct drive transmission to twist. It's like a twisty treat. And then you have the P for park, not for that other thing. Get your mind out of the gutter, please. And then we're right back where we started. There we are. Working our way down, there's your start-stop button, even though it should say on-off because it is an EV. Got a real volume knob, all your audio controls, real physical buttons. And then I like the way they do the TFT display on the AC controls. It's just standard AC, no dual climate, which is surprising for almost 60 Gs. Going down to ground level, USB-C. You do have a 12 volt, and you got a place where you could put, I would say, 2 large sprinkles cupcakes. Make mine the peanut butter chocolate. Another thing you'll notice is how low the floor is because it's nice and flat because it is an EV. You have this floating pedestal style center console, wireless charging, 2 cup holders, heated seats but no ventilated seats. That's a bummer at 60 Gs. And then the alien suppository key fob. Hopefully an alien never inserts this in you. It can't feel good. Down below you got a USB-C, actually DOS USB-Cs, and then you got a place for a purse, a sack, a satchel, a crossbody bag, a fanny pack, a hat. Even if you wanted to put, like, I would say like a steam iron. Like, say if you're one of those people that always want their clothes wrinkle-free, you could keep an iron in there. Plug it in, do it right on you, right when you're driving. Just don't do it while you're off-roading, that'll probably hurt. Soft touch, open sesame, this is where you can fill this up with Funyuns. That would be, I tell you right now, I feel sorry if anybody is out there and their significant other eats 4 chili dogs from Checkers, a large or an extra large banana shake and then 2 bags of Funyuns, I wouldn't want to kiss that person for the rest of my freaking life. Ugh. Seats. You got that H-Tex, and I gotta try to fix this headrest. Goes up, that's as low as it goes. So there it is. You got the XRT badge, the perforations, the bolstering. It is electric assist for the passenger. It is electric assist for the driver. And like I pointed outside, that's a almost $60,000 zonk that there's no sunroof whatsoever in here. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a flat bottom steering wheel that says terrain mode. Let's find out together what the hell it does. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. All those power seat controls, easy to get to. Seats are comfy. They're a little on the firm side, but it'd be interesting to see if your body will break them in after a year or so. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in these EVs. Steering wheel, very nicely shaped with the leather, the stitching. There's your terrain mode button. You also have your drive modes. And then the Morse code for the Hyundai badge, that means H in Morse code, changes color when you go into the different modes. Look at that. There's snow, like mud, it gets like a little, turns brown, and then it goes back to blue. It's like dropping the kids off in the pool. And then on the side here, you do have your manual adjustments, tilting and telescoping steering wheel. I do like the way everything is easily accessible on the steering wheel, especially your drive modes. And then that 12.3-inch dash display does have a cornucopia of information that you can go through, which is really nice. Plus, we have the blind spot cameras, one of the best pieces of technology ever invented. And there's paddles on the back of the wheel to adjust your regen braking, which is nice. But why don't we go ahead? Lots of good room up here. Let's get in the back seat of this hot hatch of sorts and see how your passengers are going to feel about it. All right, guys, back seat time. And this is really where an electric vehicle, especially the Ioniq 5, kicks the butt of a Subaru WRX. It's just the amount of room back here. Very spacious. I'm 6 feet tall, haven't shrunk, not even close to the headliner. Do appreciate the AC vents. Let me fix that, that's bothering me. I do appreciate the AC vents built into the frame here, but I don't appreciate those pesky cargo net little pockets. My Ginsu knife is gonna cut right through that, but look, a penny for your thoughts. And it's one of those things that if you're more worried about picking these up, because a penny on heads is good luck, but if you're more worried about picking up change, but you don't have any common sense, that's a problem. And common sense is very rare nowadays. So I'm gonna put that back down because I'm all about common sense. You do have 2 USB-Cs and a place where you could fill that up with about 6 Twinkies. Sitting back here, feels pretty good. You do have two stages of heated seats. And like I said, lots of room. Pull this down. Semi-soft, 2 cup holders. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the cargo area, because I want to take you for a spin and see how this XRT drives. All right, guys, now that we have it unlocked, I could show you that rear charge port. I like the way it opens up like a big wing. There's more of that Tetris action. And of course, you just charge it up right there, close the door, lickety split, 1, 2, 3. Open up the rear hatch. Of course, it is electric assist. Comes on up. One thing to realize is look how high that rear bumper is. So good news is this cladding, you're not gonna damage it. So as you're pulling your junk in and out of the back of your Ioniq 5 XRT, you're not gonna damage the cladding. In the back, it's a decent amount of room. I'm a little disappointed that the cargo floor is not any lower than what it is. And a lot of that has to do with because of that electric motor out back. But how much room do we have? 24 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Fold the seats down, it's 59 cubic feet of space, and it's real easy to fold the seats down. I mean, you're just gonna come over and basically you have to go into the car. So that's the big zonk, is I gotta come all the way over here, which is a bummer, because it would have been nice just to get access there and then the seats go down. But that is a zonk that I have to come over to the passenger rear doors to put the seats in the down position. But what's great is they're nice and flat. So that's the good news. The other bit of zonk is there's no home power source. You get a 12 volt, which is great, that's awesome. But let's be real. This is an electric vehicle. This is a 2025 model year vehicle. Where's my home power source back here? Especially for almost 60 grand. And then we lift it up, you don't get a spare, and there's not a lot of room back here. You get your tire mobility kit, and that's it because of that electric motor underneath. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's go on throttle and see how this Ioniq 5 XRT gets down and dirty. All right guys, we are leaving Crown Hyundai. We're in the 2025 Ioniq 5 XRT. I have it in sport mode, and right away, obviously, there's plenty of oomph, horsepower and torque-wise with this Ioniq 5 XRT. It's interesting because you do sit up a little bit higher, and the way the hood is, it's like you see a little bit of the top of it, and then it just sharply curves down. So it really gives you a good visual reference point out the windshield, especially with the A-pillars pulled so far apart. Now, seats are comfy, they're supportive. I love the way that you could really position them to your specific body type. I just wish they were ventilated. That's a bummer. But man, when you want to go on throttle, she gets up and goes. There is a little bit more road noise, not a lot more, and you have to remember that that makes sense because you do have those little bit more off-road spec tires than your standard Ioniq 5. But with the lower center of gravity of it being an EV, it handles very well, just like any other EV we've been in. And I'm okay with the fact that this isn't like the Ioniq 5N where you have artificial sound. That's really not my bag, so to speak. Why don't we see what on throttle is from a dead stop? You ready? On throttle! All grip, no slip. But fascinating how Hyundai has taken this rally off-road idea and actually brought it to fruition with this vehicle. I'm gonna go over these railroad tracks here. Soaks up the bumps nicely. Really, really nice. If you're hearing some stuff sliding around, it's the Charger back there, but because we don't have a lot of room underneath that cargo floor liner. I think most people are probably gonna put it in the frunk. Of course, you got your regen braking, which is awesome. And you can adjust the levels, and you have your one pedal operation. But going over this ripped up tarmac feels good. Look at this. A little bit of laugh you can get in there. But very, very planted and handles very well. Especially for being a little under 5,000 pounds, for God's sakes. Let's go over the railroad tracks again. You ready? Yeehaw! No Dukes of Hazzard air there, but still fun. Suspension does a great job. Compression and rebound damping. But like I said, the visibility, it's quiet in here. It's easy to drive. And it definitely has a unique look. Whether you like it or you hate it, it definitely has a very, 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 very unique look. Got all the safety features, of course. But we're gonna go ahead. I hope that this has been a good, quick overall review of this Ioniq 5 XRT. We're gonna get back to Crown Hyundai and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys. It's been an electrifying day here at Hyundai. And no, not because I was struck by lightning, because we went on throttle with this new 2025 Ioniq 5 XRT. We definitely got to thank Casey and the rest of the team getting us access to this vehicle. Now let me know what you think. Is this the must-have rally car? Or are you gonna stick with the tried and true Subaru WRX? Let me know in that comment section, but if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Gotta give it up to Latte Lori. We found out that basically there's enough cup holders in this thing to get about 10 lattes in there. So Lori's happy about that. And she's also busting her butt out here. So thank you, Lori, for working so hard. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.